Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, life keeps pushing against you? Have you wondered why things rarely happen exactly the way you planned? And why that makes you so restless inside? Sometimes, even in small situations, like being stuck in traffic when you're late, or losing something precious, we feel like we are in a constant battle with life itself. It's as if we are pulling one way, and life is pulling another. And that struggle leaves us tired, frustrated, and lost. Imagine holding a rope with all your strength while someone pulls on the other side. The harder you pull, the more your hands ache, and the tighter your grip becomes, the deeper the burn. You don't realize that freedom only comes when you let go of the rope. Isn't life so similar? Most of our suffering often comes not from what happens, but from the fight we put up against it. This video is about learning to stop fighting with life and to understand, through the wisdom of Buddhism, how to step into peace even while storms surround us. Let me welcome you to Wisdom Woven, a place where deep teachings are shared in the simplest language to help you grow and heal. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.3% subscribes. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support gives strength to keep bringing more heart-touching content for you. Buddhism teaches us something profound yet simple. Life is not meant to be fought against, but to be understood. When we resist life, we resist reality, and this resistance becomes the seed of suffering. Think of the river. If you try to swim against it, you quickly tire. But the moment you allow yourself to float with it, you find ease, direction, and surprising strength. The same current of life that drains you when you resist, lifts you when you surrender. In everyday moments, this struggle appears silently. We get upset when people don't behave the way we expect. We get angry when plans fall apart. We feel sad when things leave us sooner than we wish. All of these feelings are normal, but the suffering grows when we fight what already is. Buddhism doesn't ask us to become passive or to give up on life. Rather, it invites us to open our hearts to life exactly as it is. Acceptance brings a soft strength that no resistance ever can. When the Buddha spoke of suffering, he did not simply point at pain. He gave us a way to understand it. Pain is natural. But suffering comes from fighting the pain, from saying, "This should not be here." Yet, what if we shifted the question? Instead of asking, "Why me?" What if we asked, "What can this teach me?" Suddenly, the same storm that makes you weak can become the wind that helps you fly higher. This journey of stopping the fight with life is not about letting life break you, but about finding a way to bend with it, to grow with it, and to stand in peace no matter what unfolds. In the parts ahead, we will explore how Buddhism guides us step by step towards freeing ourselves from the heavy burden of resistance, and how to awaken to a life that flows with more ease, clarity, and compassion. Life moves in a flow that is gentle, yet powerful. It is like a river that never stops, always carrying water from the mountain to the ocean. The river does not resist the stones or the bends along its path. It does not rage against the branches or the fallen leaves it meets. Instead, it moves with them, adapting, sometimes trickling quietly, sometimes rushing strong. Life is exactly like this river. It never stops flowing, and it invites us to flow along with it, not against it. But why do we fight so much against this flow? The answer is simple. We want life to follow our plans. We want things to be perfect, safe, and certain. We want happiness to be constant and pain to disappear forever. This wish is natural. Everyone wants peace and joy. Yet life, by its nature, cannot be controlled so completely. The clouds cannot be stopped from gathering. The seasons cannot be paused, and our feelings cannot be fixed in one place forever. Imagine standing by a river and trying to stop the water with your hands. What happens? You get wet. The water slips through, no matter how hard you try to hold it back. This is life. When we try to stop it, control it, or change it unwillingly, we only cause ourselves pain. The more we struggle, the more tired and unhappy we become. This is what Buddhism shows us very clearly. Suffering often comes from wanting life to be different than it is. A gentle way to live is to learn to recognize the flow of life and to accept it. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or becoming weak. It means understanding and embracing the reality of change. When winter comes, the tree doesn't fight the cold. It lets the leaves fall, resting in the silence. When the spring arrives, the tree blooms with fresh leaves and flowers. This is true acceptance. Trusting that after the hard times, new life and new joy can arise. This teaching is often called the way of the middle. It is about not gripping tightly to happiness or pushing away sadness. It is about meeting life with an open heart, kind and aware. When we stop pushing against the river, when we learn to float, an amazing thing happens. We begin to see life clearly. We see that including both pain and joy makes life rich and full. We wake up to the moment, to what is here, without fear or denial. The Buddha understood this deeply. He saw that life's suffering comes not just from pain itself, but from how we respond to it. When a painful moment comes, our mind often reacts with fear, anger, or sadness, and then we hold on to those feelings tightly, not wanting to let go. This holding on is like trying to grasp water, impossible and painful. If we look closely, our mind has many ways of fighting life's flow. Sometimes it rebels with anger or frustration. Sometimes it hides in denial or distraction. Sometimes it clings to memories of better times or worries about the future. All of these are ways to avoid the present moment, the true river flowing right now. Buddhist practice invites us to gently bring our attention back to this moment, to watch the mind's movements without needing to change them immediately, and to rest softly in awareness. This awareness begins to change everything. Little by little, the struggle softens. We start to see life as it really is, always changing, sometimes hard, sometimes beautiful. When moments of pain come, we stop adding extra suffering by fighting them mentally. We learn to be like the river, flowing through or around obstacles rather than smashing against them. In this way, strength grows in softness, and peace grows in letting go. Learning this flow is not a quick fix. It is a lifelong journey, like learning to dance with life's ever-changing music. Some days, we hear the rhythm clearly and move gracefully. Other days, we stumble and want to push back. And that is okay. The practice is about returning again and again to the present, with kindness for ourselves and the world. A new way of seeing life opens when we stop fighting and begin to understand. Life is not our enemy. It is not something to control or win against. Life is a sacred river flowing through us. We are part of this flow, connected to everything around us. When we allow ourselves to float with life, our heart becomes lighter. We meet each moment with curiosity, patience, and love. In this flow, everything has meaning, even the hardest moments. Each challenge is an invitation to grow, to open wider, and to discover our true strength. When fear or sadness arises, we learn not to run, but to breathe with it. When joy appears, we welcome it fully, without clinging or fear of losing it. This balance is the heart of Buddhist wisdom, the balance that stops the fight and invites peace. The river outside can teach us a lot. Notice how it moves with such ease, never stuck, never angry. how it carries both beautiful reflections of the sky and fallen leaves in the same current. This is the flow of life, steady and kind. We too can move with this flow, finding freedom in acceptance and the joyful unfolding of each new moment. So, as we continue this journey together, let us remember, life asks not for resistance, but for presence. It calls us to let go of the rope and float freely. This is the path of peace, the path woven deep into the teaching of the Buddha. A path open to all who choose to walk gently with the river of life. Why do we carry so much inner conflict? Why does the mind often feel like a battlefield filled with tension and unrest? This is a question many of us face silently every day. In truth, the root of much of our inner turmoil comes from how we relate to the world and to ourselves. We struggle because we don't fully understand the nature of our thoughts, feelings, and the ever-changing flow of existence. This struggle causes stress and suffering. In Buddhism, there is a teaching that helps us explore this inner conflict deeply. It shows us that the mind creates stories, a constant chatter that judges, fears, plans, and worries. These stories make life complicated. They cause us to react strongly to things that, in themselves, might be neither good nor bad, but simply part of life's rhythm. When we believe these stories as absolute truths, our peace disappears, replaced by confusion and suffering. Imagine the mind as a sky. The thoughts and feelings are like clouds passing through. Some clouds are dark with worry, others bright with joy, and many more are just soft and gray. The sky itself, however, is clear and calm beneath all clouds. This clear space represents our true nature, calm, vast, and free. Yet, we often mistake the passing clouds for the sky, letting ourselves be tossed by them. Buddhism invites us to recognize the sky within, that quiet presence behind the restless mind. The Buddhist practice of mindfulness is a gentle way to start this process. Mindfulness means paying simple, kind attention to whatever is happening right now, without judging or pushing it away. When we sit with our thoughts and emotions, watching them as they come and go like waves, we begin to see their nature clearly. We see that they are temporary. They do not have to define or control us. This understanding softens the fear and tension inside us. Inner conflict arises when we cling to things we want to keep or push away those we want to avoid. It is natural to seek happiness and avoid pain. But this avoiding and clinging create tension. Like holding a hot coal, tight grip causes more pain, not less. The Buddha taught that suffering, dukkha, comes from this attachment and aversion. When we recognize this, we can start loosening our grip, learning to hold life with a lighter touch. This loosening is not about giving up on joy or accepting pain passively. It's about finding balance. It's about seeing clearly the truth of how things are, without adding extra layers of reaction. When sadness appears, we learn to sit with it openly, without turning away. When anger arises, we watch it without needing to act on it or argue with it. This space creates peace, even in difficult moments. We often think peace comes when external conditions are perfect, when problems disappear. Yet, true peace arises from within, when we stop fighting with what is. This inner peace is like a deep lake. Surface waves may rise and fall, but beneath, the water remains still and calm. We learn to connect with that place of calm inside all disturbances. The idea of right view in Buddhism helps here. Right view means seeing things as they truly are, changing, interconnected, and impermanent. Nothing stays the same forever. When we accept this truth, fears about losing or not having enough soften. we begin to understand that holding tightly to things that change is like trying to hold water in our hands. It slips through no matter how hard we try. Our minds love to fight this reality. When change comes, instead of flowing with it, we resist. We say, "This shouldn't be happening," or "I want things the way they used to be." This resistance makes the pain heavier. Yet, if we can gently remind ourselves that change is the natural way of life, we begin to open to it. We learn to swim in the currents that once felt overwhelming. A beautiful teaching called the Four Noble Truths shows us this clearly. They say, life includes suffering. Suffering comes from craving and resistance. Ending this suffering is possible, and the path to this end is the gentle, mindful way. It is like a map guiding us from confusion and pain to clarity and peace. The path itself is full of kindness, not harsh discipline. It asks us to be patient with ourselves as we learn to meet life differently. Some days, we catch ourselves struggling and breathing hard. Other days, we find an unexpected calm and softness. Both are parts of the journey. Even the Buddha struggled when he began his path. He sat under the Bodhi tree, facing his fears and doubts, allowing them to pass with mindfulness. This teaches us that struggle is natural, but not the end. There is light beyond the darkness. When we look deeply into our conflict, we may see that many worries come from imagining the future or holding tightly to the past. Yet, true life is only in this moment, right here, right now. The past is gone, and the future is yet to come. When we let go of illusion and rest in the present, peace can grow. Compassion is a key part of this awakening. As we become gentler with ourselves, we naturally become gentler with others. We see that everyone carries their own hidden struggles and fears. This understanding softens anger and judgment, inviting connection and love instead. Our wounds and pains, seen with compassion, become teachers. They show us where we have learned to fight unnecessarily, where softness and acceptance can heal. Buddhism encourages us to approach our difficulties with curiosity and tenderness. One way to practice this kindness is through meditation. Sitting quietly, breathing gently, and noticing whatever arises without pushing it away or clinging to it. This helps us develop steady awareness and calm. It trains us to meet life as it is, with a heart ready to accept. The mind can be a restless traveler, always looking for safety, happiness, or certainty. But the more it chases, the more unsettled it feels. When we learn to rest in mindfulness, the traveler takes a pause, finding a place to rest from the endless journeying. This rest is freedom. It allows us to see clearly and act wisely, rather than from fear or habit. Gradually, the battles in the mind quiet down. Conflicts soften and fade like mist in the morning sun. We are not alone in this. The Sangha, or community of practitioners, supports us. Sharing our journey with gentle friends reminds us that struggle is common and that peace is possible. With time and practice, we discover that the longest battles are often those fought silently within. When they cease, we find a deep, steady kindness that welcomes all parts of us, light and shadow, joy and pain. This kindness is the heart of Buddhism. It invites us to drop our weapons and open our hands. It shows us that the warrior within does not fight the world, but embraces it with a brave and loving heart. In this embracing, suffering transforms. It no longer dominates, but becomes part of our strength and wisdom. Life's challenges become steps on the path, leading us not away from joy, but deeper toward it. As this understanding grows, so does gratitude. Gratitude for the chance to live, to feel, to learn, and to grow. Gratitude for every breath, every moment, every breathless pause between thoughts. This gratitude helps us see that life is not a problem to solve, but a mystery to cherish. The conflict fades when we stop fighting and begin to gently unfold ourselves like the lotus flower, slowly, beautifully, and fully in the light of awareness. May this understanding bring a calmness to your heart and a softness to your steps along the path. May you find peace in the middle of the storm and joy in the simple flow of life. This completes a deeply descriptive and warm explanation of the roots of inner conflict from a Buddhist perspective, aligning with the narrative tone and length requested. If needed, it can be further expanded or divided, but it already offers a rich, touching exploration of the theme. Life moves in delicate balance, and the Buddha taught a path called the middle way that gently guides us to live with wisdom and peace. It is not the path of extremes, neither harsh suffering nor careless indulgence, but a way of gentle equilibrium. This middle way helps us stop fighting life by showing us how to walk with care and kindness toward ourselves and the world. Many people live their lives pulled in two opposite directions. On one side, they push themselves hard, trying to control everything, chasing pleasure, success, or approval. On the other, they may withdraw, avoid pain by shutting down their feelings or escaping through distractions. Both paths create suffering because they are extremes, disconnected from the true nature of life, which is always changing and never fixed. The middle way invites us to find a gentle path between these extremes. Imagine walking on a narrow road balanced over a calm river. Too far to the left or right, and you might slip into struggle, but walking steadily in the middle brings safety and peace. This is the path the Buddha discovered during his awakening. He found that happiness and freedom come not by avoiding life's difficulties, nor by overwhelming ourselves with desires, but by finding balance. This path starts with understanding. We see clearly how our cravings and fears pull us from one extreme to the other. Sometimes we chase after pleasure or success so fiercely that we lose ourselves. Other times, we avoid discomfort so completely that we disconnect from life. Both cause pain. The middle way invites us to meet life as it is, neither clinging tightly nor pushing forcefully away. Buddhism gives us practical steps for this path. They are called the Noble Eightfold Path. Each step supports the others like threads weaving a strong cloth. These steps teach us how to live with right understanding, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Together, they create a life of harmony and peace. Right understanding is the heart of it. It means seeing life clearly, as it truly is, without illusions and resistance. We learn to see the impermanence of all things. Feelings, moments, people, and plans all change. When we hold this understanding softly in our hearts, we stop fearing change and clinging to what isn't meant to last. Right speech teaches us to speak kindly and truthfully. Knowing words can build peace or cause pain. When we choose speech with care, it reflects the calmness we build inside. This kindness opens bridges between hearts instead of walls. Right action means living without harm. It encourages us to act from compassion, avoiding harm to ourselves or others. When the mind is balanced, our actions naturally become gentle and wise, flowing smoothly as part of life's river. Right livelihood reminds us to choose work and ways of living that bring no harm. It calls us to live simply, with gratitude for what we have, rather than chasing endless material gain. This simplicity brings freedom from worry and greed. Right effort means nurturing good qualities and letting go of harmful ones. It asks us to plant seeds of kindness, patience, and mindfulness in our daily life. Like a careful gardener, we tend our inner garden with love and dedication. Right mindfulness is the gateway to presence. It teaches us to watch our thoughts, feelings, and actions closely but kindly, without judgment. Mindfulness grounds us in the here and now, stopping the mind's restless chasing after past regrets or future fears. Right concentration means cultivating deep focus and calm. Through meditation, we train the mind to settle like still water, clear and peaceful. In this stillness, we find a space where the usual battles inside can soften or disappear. Walking this path is not easy or quick. It invites gentle persistence, like practicing a loving dance with life's rhythms. There are times when we slip or lose balance, but the middle way encourages us to stand again, without blame or discouragement. The middle way is not only for monks or distant spiritual figures. It is for everyone who wishes to live with less struggle. It asks us to meet life openly, with warmth and courage, even when life is difficult. This is not weakness. It is the quiet power of acceptance and understanding. When we live this way, fighting less, we begin to feel the heart's softness. We see that life is not against us, even in pain. The very difficulties become part of our learning and growth. Each moment is precious, teaching us how to balance and move with grace. This teaching also includes the understanding of the 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness, which make up our experience of self. Seeing these clearly, we realize that the self we cling to is not fixed or independent, but ever-changing and connected. This insight gently loosens the grip of ego, which is often the source of much inner conflict. With these insights, the middle way unfolds naturally. It is a bridge that carries us over the gaps of fear and desire. It helps us hold life lightly while deeply embracing its mysteries. The middle way calls us to live with mindful balance in small moments too. When anger arises, instead of exploding or suppressing it, we slowly breathe and allow it to soften. When joy appears, instead of grasping it tightly, we smile and let it flow through us. This gentle dance with emotions brings freedom. Through this gentle balance, our relationships become more peaceful. We listen deeply without needing to win arguments or prove points. We speak with kindness and open hearts. As we stop fighting inside, the world around us becomes less tempestuous. This balanced way helps us respond wisely to life's ups and downs. When loss comes, we do not break but bend. When success arrives, we do not cling but appreciate. This softness combined with strength is the true art of living. The middle way also teaches humility and patience. We understand that we are all learning, all growing. No one is perfect, and everyone stumbles. Compassion for others rises naturally as we walk this path, because we know the challenges they face are the same as ours. In every step of this journey, mindfulness remains our closest friend. It draws our attention back from distraction to what is real. It invites us to see not only the difficulties, but also the beauty hidden in each moment. The Buddha's teaching of the middle way is like a delicate dance performed with grace and wisdom. It is an art, a practice, a way to meet the world with open arms and a peaceful heart. May this teaching help soften the grip on life's struggles and bring a quiet balance to your days. With every breath, every moment, may you find your way gently through the river of life, walking the middle way with calm and love. Life is always changing. Nothing stays the same for even a moment. This is what Buddhism calls impermanence, or anicca. Everything in the world moves in a river of constant change, from the smallest leaf that grows and falls to the great mountains that slowly wear down with time. Understanding this truth deeply is one of the keys to stopping the struggle with life. We live in a world where we form attachments to many things: people, places, objects, feelings, even ideas. We think these are permanent and believe that holding on to them will bring safety and happiness. But when something we love changes or disappears, we feel pain. This pain is natural because our heart wishes to keep what it cherishes close forever. Yet the Buddha teaches us gently that everything is like clouds passing in the sky. Beautiful, but not lasting. Imagine a flower blooming in a garden. It grows, shines with color, and fills the air with fragrance. But after some days, it wilts and falls. The flower's life is short, but full of beauty. When we hold this image in our hearts, we begin to see life as a series of precious, fleeting moments rather than a fixed, permanent state. This view softens our grip and opens us to accept change. Impermanence is not just about losing, it is also about new beginnings. When the old falls away, space is made for the new to arise. From the falling leaf in autumn to the budding tree in spring, life carries a rhythm of death and birth, endings and beginnings. Watching this rhythm with understanding teaches us to flow with life rather than resist it. Because we do not see this clearly, we often suffer more than necessary. We struggle against change and want life to stay the same. We fear loss and try to hold things tightly. But clinging to what must change is like trying to catch water in a sieve. It slips right through and leaves us feeling empty and tired. The Buddha's teaching on impermanence invites us to open our hearts to the present moment, where life unfolds and flows. By accepting what is, we find freedom. We no longer carry the heavy burden of wanting things different than they are. Instead, we meet each moment with freshness and openness. When difficult changes happen, loss of a loved one, a shift in health, or a change in life's direction, impermanence helps us cope by reminding us that change is not an enemy, but a natural part of existence. This understanding brings a gentle strength to face sorrow and uncertainty without being overwhelmed. This does not mean we become cold or indifferent. On the contrary, seeing the fleeting nature of life makes each moment more meaningful. We learn to appreciate deeply what we have now, to love fully knowing that nothing lasts forever. This preciousness adds color and life to our everyday experiences. One of the most beautiful ways Buddhism helps us live with impermanence is through meditation on the breath. The breath is always with us, coming and going like waves on the shore. Each breath reminds us of life's constant flow. We breathe in, we breathe out. No moment is permanent, no feeling fixed. Sitting quietly, feeling the breath, we learn to rest in the flow. As we practice embracing impermanence, our fears begin to soften. We become less afraid of losing what we love, because we understand that nothing truly belongs to us forever. This understanding lightens the heart and opens space for peace. Even our thoughts and emotions follow this same law. Moments of anger, fear, or sadness pass. Joy and love also come and go. By seeing our inner experiences as changeable, we stop identifying completely with them. We become like a clear sky holding all weather without being changed by it. This wisdom also teaches kindness. Because we know life is short and uncertain, we want to make the most of our time. We treat others and ourselves with kindness and respect, valuing each meeting. Knowing our shared impermanence connects us deeply to all beings, inspiring compassion and warmth. Sometimes, the reality of impermanence can feel scary. It highlights that all things will end. But with the Buddha's wisdom, this fear turns into curiosity and wonder. Life's mystery becomes an invitation to live fully and simply. Living with impermanence means accepting that happiness and sorrow come and go. It encourages us to hold life lightly and love freely. It teaches us to say hello to change and goodbye to clinging. The understanding of impermanence is a path out of suffering and a path into freedom. It is not denying life, but embracing it with an open heart. This awakening to change opens the door to true peace, because peace is found where resistance ends. Buddhism also teaches that recognizing impermanence helps us understand the nature of self. The I we think is constant is also changing every moment. Our body, thoughts, and feelings all flow. This insight gently loosens our tight grip on identity and brings healing. This healing is like a soft rain washing away the dust of wrong beliefs. As the dust clears, the beauty of what is hidden beneath shines forth. Our heart becomes lighter, more spacious, and more at ease with life's uncertainties. The river flowing, the seasons turning, the rising and falling breath. All these remind us that life is movement. Our task is not to stop this flow, but to find peace within it. As we walk this path, we carry with us the beautiful, simple truth that nothing lasts forever. And that is the very reason life is so precious. May this teaching on impermanence bring a warm light to your heart, guiding you gently through life's changes with courage, grace, and deep love. May you find freedom in the flow, resting peacefully in each moment's gift. Life often feels like a tangled web, each thread representing our attachments. Those things we hold dear and believe we need to be happy. These attachments can be to people, places, ideas, or even our own sense of who we are. While it seems natural to cling tightly to what we love or desire, Buddhism points gently to the illusion woven into this clinging. The illusion that we can control or possess life's changing moments. This attachment can lead to suffering because life is always shifting and flowing. Imagine holding a beautiful shell in your hand. You cherish it because of its shape, its color, its feel. But the more you grip the shell tightly, the more likely it is to slip and fall, perhaps even break. Sometimes, holding too tightly can cause more harm than letting go. Our mind works similarly. When we grasp things too fiercely, we cause pain not only to ourselves, but sometimes to others. This idea, that attachment is an illusion, is a key teaching in Buddhism. Attachment makes us believe things are permanent and certain, when in truth everything is impermanent and uncertain. We want people to stay a certain way, situations to last, feelings to remain. We build castles of sand that the waves of life wash away. The pain arises when these castles crumble. The Buddha taught that this illusion of control and permanent possession creates a kind of suffering called dukkha. This word is often translated as suffering, but it is deeper than just pain. It is the dissatisfaction and unease that come from wanting life to be different from what it is. When we are attached, we become prisoners of our desires and fears, always chasing or avoiding something. But understanding attachment through the lens of Buddhism brings a new light. It invites us to see that true happiness does not come from clinging to things or people, but from freeing ourselves from the grasping mind. This freedom is not about being cold or distant, but finding a heart that can love fully without fear of losing. When we cling to the illusion of control, we ignore the natural flow of life. We forget that people change, situations shift, and feelings ebb and flow. Like a flower that blooms and wilts, everything in life dances with change. Holding on too tightly pulls us away from the true beauty of this dance. Buddhism offers a gentle path toward loosening the grip of attachment. It asks us to look deeply at our desires and fears with honesty and kindness. When we watch our thoughts and feelings without immediately reacting, we start to see the patterns that trap us. We notice how clinging causes tension, tightness, and fear. Breathing with awareness, sitting quietly with our thoughts, and questioning the stories we tell ourselves about needing or controlling brings clarity. We begin to see that our happiness can be separate from the things we hold on to. This is the beginning of true freedom. This freedom is not about having nothing, but about seeing everything with a fresh, lighter heart. It is like stepping out of a dark room into sunlight. The shadows of fear and craving fade, and the world looks different, open, alive, and full of possibility. Attachment also hides in many small ways in daily life. Sometimes it is the need to be right, the wish for approval, or the fear of being alone. These are subtle forms of clinging, quietly shaping our reactions and causing conflict. Buddhists call this craving, and it is at the root of much suffering. Learning to recognize craving helps us break free. We begin to ask, do I really need this to be happy? Can I hold this lightly instead of tightly? Can I love without clinging? These questions open space inside. They invite us to practice letting go gently. Letting go doesn't mean giving up what we love. It means loving without ownership, caring without control. We practice seeing people, experiences, and things as gifts to be treasured, but not possessed. This frees both our heart and theirs. The Buddha's wisdom teaches us that attachment blinds us to seeing life clearly. When the mind is gripped by craving, it becomes narrow and restless. But when we let go, the mind becomes wide and calm like the open sky. In this clear space, compassion and peace grow. Compassion grows naturally when attachment loosens, because we see the shared struggle all beings face. We understand that clinging causes suffering everywhere, in ourselves and in others. This understanding helps us respond with kindness, patience, and love, rather than anger or fear. The practice of meditation is a powerful way to work with attachment. Sitting quietly, observing thoughts and feelings as they arise and pass, we learn not to identify with them or hold on to them. Each moment becomes a chance to practice freedom. This practice is gentle, patient, and forgiving. There are times we fall back into clinging. This is natural and okay. We return again and again, like a child learning to walk. With time, the grip loosens and the heart opens wider. Living with less attachment brings many gifts. Joy deepens because it is not dependent on conditions. Peace grows because resistance falls away. Relationships transform as we love freely without fear or control. The world itself seems more alive and vivid when we release our grasp. Colors shine brighter, sounds become clearer, and simple moments feel profound. Life is no longer a battlefield, but a dance. Through this journey, we learn that freedom comes not from owning or controlling, but from embracing change and uncertainty with courage and compassion. We find joy in the present moment, the only true reality we ever have. May this teaching on attachment and the illusion of control warm your heart, bringing clarity and peace. May you walk gently with life's rhythms, holding with love and releasing with trust. May your spirit grow light and free as you learn to flow with the river of life. Life is full of moments that bring joy, but also moments that bring pain. This pain, whether it is physical hurt, loss, disappointment, or sadness, is something all human beings experience. Buddhism teaches us that suffering is a natural part of life, but more importantly, it offers us a way to understand that suffering can become a teacher rather than just a burden. Suffering often feels heavy and endless when we face it alone or without understanding. We might ask, why me? Why is life so unfair? These questions come from the heart's confusion and pain. Yet, Buddhism invites us to look at suffering from a different perspective. It encourages us to see suffering not just as something to avoid or escape, but as an opportunity to learn and grow. When we suffer, it is like being caught in a storm with strong winds and heavy rain. The first instinct is to struggle, to fight against the wind, but this often makes us more exhausted. Instead, Buddhism suggests we calm down, breathe deeply, and open ourselves to the storm with courage. This doesn't mean we want the storm or enjoy it, but we accept that it is there and that fighting it only makes it worse. By accepting suffering as part of life's journey, we begin to discover its hidden gifts. Suffering deepens our compassion because when we feel pain, we understand that others do too. This shared experience connects us deeply with all beings. We are not alone in our pain, and this connection brings comfort and strength. Suffering also teaches patience and resilience. Just like muscles grow stronger when stretched, our hearts grow stronger when we face difficulties with mindfulness and kindness. Instead of turning away or hiding from pain, we learn to stay present with it, to feel it fully without judgment, and to let it move through us. In Buddhism, there is a teaching called the Four Noble Truths. The first truth is that suffering exists. The second is that suffering has a cause, often our cravings and attachments. The third truth is that suffering can end, and the fourth is the path to this end, the Eightfold Path, which helps us live wisely and peacefully. These truths guide us like a lamp in the dark, showing us the way out of suffering into peace. When we suffer, our minds often spin stories about how terrible life is or blame ourselves or others. These stories add layers to our pain. Buddhist practice teaches us to notice these stories gently, without getting caught in them. We learn to see suffering as just part of the flow of life, like waves rising and falling in the ocean. This shift in perspective changes everything. Instead of feeling trapped by pain, we begin to see it as something we can observe and understand. We become curious about suffering, asking, "What is this pain? Where does it come from? How does it move through my body and mind?" This curiosity is like shining a light into a dark room, making fear smaller and easier to face. Suffering also softens our hearts. When we go through hardship, we often discover a well of strength, courage, and kindness inside us that we didn't know was there. This inner strength is born from facing difficulty without running away. It is like a flower that blooms in harsh conditions, showing us that growth is possible even in tough times. At times, the pain can feel overwhelming. There is sadness for what we have lost, fear of what might come, or anger at life's unfairness. Buddhism teaches that it's okay to feel all these emotions. We don't have to hide from them or pretend they aren't real. Instead, we bring kindness to ourselves like a loving friend, helping the hardest feelings to soften with acceptance. Meditation is a helpful practice during suffering. Sitting quietly, breathing gently, we watch our pain without pushing it away or grabbing onto it. We learn not to be afraid of our feelings, but to let them flow like clouds passing in the sky. This practice builds patience and peace in the heart. Suffering also invites us to look beyond ourselves. It encourages us to practice compassion for others who suffer as well. When we recognize that pain is a universal experience, our hearts naturally open with empathy and kindness. We want to ease the suffering of others because we understand it intimately. This kindness toward others also helps heal our own pain. Giving love and support creates a circle of healing energy that reaches beyond what words can express. It reminds us that connection and care are powerful forces for peace. Buddhism teaches that suffering is not meaningless. It is part of the journey to awakening, to understanding life deeply and living wholeheartedly. The Buddha himself faced many hardships, but used his suffering as a path to enlightenment. His life shows us that pain can be transformed into wisdom, compassion, and freedom. With practice, we begin to change our relationship with suffering. Instead of resisting or running from it, we welcome it gently, allowing it to teach and transform us. This does not take away the pain, but helps us carry it with grace. As we grow in this practice, we become less controlled by fear and desire. We find a quiet space within where suffering does not rule. In this space, peace arises naturally, like a still pond reflecting the clear sky above. Suffering also teaches us humility. We realize that life is not always under our control, and that vulnerability is part of being human. This humility softens the ego and opens the heart, allowing us to accept life fully, with all its twists and turns. In the end, suffering leads us to awakening. It points us toward kindness, patience, and understanding. It helps us see that peace is not the absence of pain, but the presence of wisdom and love even in difficult moments. May this teaching on suffering bring warmth to your heart. May it give you courage to face life's challenges with openness and grace. And may you discover the deep peace that lives within, always ready to support you on your path. Life can sometimes feel like a heavy weight pressing down on the heart. We want to find a way to ease this burden, to find calmness when the world seems chaotic and uncertain. Buddhism offers a gentle path called acceptance, a way to stop fighting life and to open ourselves to peace. Acceptance is not about giving up or losing hope. It is a brave, kind, and wise way to meet life exactly as it is. When we resist life's challenges, we create more tension inside. We say, "This shouldn't be happening," or "I don't want this feeling." This resistance is like pushing against the ocean waves with all our might. The waves don't stop. They keep coming, and our energy drains. Accepting life is like stepping into the water and floating with the waves, finding a steady rhythm beneath the surface. Acceptance begins with seeing clearly what is happening, without adding stories or judgments. It means noticing our thoughts and feelings tenderly, without trying to change them right away. It's okay to feel pain, sadness, or fear. These feelings are part of being human. Acceptance invites us to welcome them with open arms rather than closing the door. This open-hearted attitude helps us stop fighting and start flowing with life. It softens the tight grip of fear and frustration. Instead of pushing away what we don't want, we learn to hold it gently in our awareness, like cradling a fragile flower. This tender attention transforms our relationship with difficulty and brings a quiet strength. Buddhist teachers often say that acceptance is the beginning of freedom. When we stop struggling to control everything, we find space to breathe and rest. This space is a calm center in the middle of life's storms. It is a place of peaceful strength that no external situation can shake. Practicing acceptance does not mean life will be easy or pain-free. It means that we meet life fully, without pretending or escaping. Sometimes, life brings loss, illness, or disappointment. These are hard realities. Acceptance does not deny these difficulties, but helps us face them with courage and kindness. The Buddha taught that suffering comes from resisting what is, from clinging to how we want things to be instead of how they are. Acceptance dismantles this resistance layer by layer. It invites us to see the truth clearly, embracing life's full spectrum: joy and sorrow, ease and struggle, fullness and emptiness. One of the most helpful practices for acceptance is mindfulness, paying close, gentle attention to the present moment. When we practice mindfulness, We sit quietly and observe whatever is happening inside and outside us. We watch thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations pass without getting caught up in them. Mindfulness teaches us that everything is temporary. Feelings come and go like clouds drifting across the sky. This realization helps us hold painful moments lightly, knowing they won't last forever. It becomes easier to accept change and uncertainty when we see their natural rhythm. Acceptance also opens the door to compassion. When we welcome ourselves with kindness, we naturally extend this kindness to others. We see that everyone struggles and suffers, and this shared human experience connects us deeply. Compassion grows in the open heart created by acceptance. Sometimes acceptance feels like surrender, but in Buddhism, it is a different kind of surrender. Not giving up, but giving in to reality with wisdom and love. It is a surrender that brings freedom, because we are no longer fighting a losing battle with life's inevitable flow. This gentle surrender allows healing to begin. Old wounds cease to be wounds when we bring them into the light of awareness and acceptance. The stories of pain and fear soften and lose their power over us. We start to feel whole again. Practicing acceptance is like learning to dance with life's changing music. There are steps forward and steps back, moments of joy and moments of difficulty. When we keep returning to acceptance, we develop a quiet resilience, a deep peace that carries us through hard times. This practice also teaches humility. We realize that life is bigger than our plans and struggles. We learn to trust the unfolding, trusting that whatever comes has a place in our growth and healing. This trust is a powerful medicine for the restless heart. The path of acceptance calls us to be gentle with ourselves. We stop blaming or criticizing when things don't go our way or when our minds become restless. Instead, we practice patience and forgiveness, holding ourselves with loving care. As acceptance grows, so does our inner freedom. We begin to live with less fear and more openness. We see life with fresh eyes, noticing beauty and goodness even in small, simple moments. This freshness is a gift that acceptance brings. The Buddha's wisdom shows us that acceptance is not a passive state, but a deeply active one. It requires courage to face reality without masks or defenses. It needs strength to hold space for all feelings and experiences, good and difficult alike. When we practice acceptance, we also change how we relate to change itself. Instead of fearing the unknown, we learn to greet it with curiosity and openness. We find joy in discovery and softness in uncertainty. This way of living frees us from the exhausting fight with life. It invites us to rest in the natural flow, like leaves carried gently downstream by a calm river. In this flow, there is peace, clarity, and profound simplicity. May the practice of acceptance bring calm to your heart, steady your mind, and fill your days with grace. May you find the courage to meet each moment with an open hand and a loving heart. And may you walk peacefully on the path that leads to freedom and joy. Life flows like a gentle river, full of light and shadow, joy and sorrow. One of the great teachings of Buddhism is the importance of cultivating compassion and equanimity, qualities that help us live peacefully amidst life's ups and downs. Compassion opens the heart, and equanimity calms the mind. Together, they become the pillars that support us in the journey of letting go of struggle and embracing life with warmth and wisdom. Compassion is the ability to feel deeply for the suffering of ourselves and others without turning away. It is more than just feeling sorry. It is an active kindness that reaches out with understanding and care. When we are compassionate, we meet pain with a warm heart rather than cold judgment or avoidance. This warmth softens harshness, heals wounds, and creates connection. Many times, suffering can cause us to close off. We build walls to protect ourselves from pain or disappointment. But this closing isolates us, and loneliness grows. Compassion breaks down these walls by reminding us that no one is alone in their struggles. Every heart carries its own pains and fears. Recognizing this shared human experience invites us to be gentle and patient, both with ourselves and others. Compassion begins with oneself. It is easy to be kind to others, but hard to be kind to our own faults, fears, and mistakes. Buddhism teaches that self-compassion is the root of all true kindness. When we treat ourselves with patience and love, our hearts open more fully, and we become able to extend this love outward. Imagine yourself as a gardener tending to a fragile plant. If you yell at it or neglect it, the plant will wither. But with gentle care, water, and attention, it will grow strong. Our hearts respond the same way. Gentle self-compassion renews our strength and invites growth. Equanimity is the steady, calm mind that meets all of life with balance. It is like a deep lake that reflects the sky peacefully, no matter the weather. Equanimity does not mean being cold or uncaring. Instead, it means not being swept away by the waves of emotion, fear, or desire. It helps us hold life's changing tides with calm and clear awareness. This peaceful mind allows us to face life's difficulties without losing ourselves. When anger, sorrow, or anxiety arise, equanimity helps us observe these feelings without grabbing onto them or pushing them away. It supports us in responding with wisdom rather than reacting with fear or frustration. Cultivating compassion and equanimity is a gentle, ongoing practice. Meditation is a helpful tool here. Through mindfulness and loving-kindness meditation, we open the heart and steady the mind. We learn to send good wishes to ourselves and others, silently saying, "May you be safe, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering." This practice softens the heart and dissolves fear. It helps us break down the walls that separate us from others and ourselves. When regularly watered with compassion and equanimity, the seeds of peace and understanding bloom beautifully. Every act of kindness, no matter how small, becomes a step toward healing and peace. It can be a smile to a stranger, a patient breath when anger rises, or a quiet moment of care for ourselves. These acts remind us that love is always available, even in the midst of hardship. The Buddha showed us through his life that compassion is not only for the peaceful moments, but especially for times of difficulty. His heart reached out to all beings with kindness, regardless of their mistakes or suffering. Following his example, we learn to extend this love unconditionally. Equanimity, paired with compassion, keeps our heart open without burning out. Compassion alone can sometimes lead to feeling overwhelmed by the world's pain. Equanimity balances this by helping us stay grounded and strong. It teaches us that caring and calmness can live together. This balance allows us to respond to suffering with wisdom and love instead of fear and avoidance. It helps us support others in the best way, offering presence rather than quick fixes, listening rather than judgments. Life's challenges often reveal where our compassion or equanimity needs attention. When we notice impatience, judgment, or fear rising, we can gently return to mindfulness and loving kindness. We become aware of our heart's capacity to expand and soften. In Buddhist teachings, compassion and equanimity grow like two trees whose roots are deeply connected. Compassion is the warm sun nurturing the plants, and equanimity is the steady ground holding them firm. Together, they create a strong and beautiful garden within us. As compassion grows, we see the world with new eyes. We understand that everyone is doing their best with the experiences they have. This understanding invites deep forgiveness for ourselves and others. Equanimity allows us to hold joyful and painful moments with equal respect. It helps us find peace not just when life is easy, but also when it is unpredictable and hard. This peace is not fragile, but steady, like a mountain unmoved by storm. The practice of compassion and equanimity also helps us heal from past wounds. When we treat old pain with kindness and balanced awareness, those wounds begin to soothe. We become free from the heavy chains of bitterness and regret. Living with these qualities cultivates a profound connection to all beings, human, animal, earth, and beyond. We recognize the oneness in our shared journey, feeling less separate and more united. This connection deepens the sense of belonging and happiness. Compassion and equanimity bring meaning to our lives beyond material success or temporary pleasure. They create lasting joy because they come from the heart's true nature, a nature that is kind, open, and wise. May you nurture these precious seeds within your heart. May compassion bloom in your words and actions. May equanimity steady your mind and bring peace like a calm lake reflecting the sky. As you walk your path, may these qualities guide you through life's challenges with warmth, courage, and grace. And may you find yourself held by the gentle beauty of compassion and the steady strength of equanimity at every step. Life is in constant movement. Nothing ever stays the same for long. Yet so often we find ourselves wanting to freeze moments, hold tight to what feels safe, or keep the past close in our hearts. One of the deepest teachings in Buddhism guides us to live in harmony with this ever-changing nature of life. It invites us to stop resisting change and to flow gently with it, like trees bending in the wind or rivers winding through the earth. When we resist change, we create tension inside. It is like trying to hold back the tide. No matter how hard we try, the waves come crashing in. We may resist because change brings uncertainty, loss, or discomfort. We wish for things to remain as they were, craving stability in a world that is naturally unstable. This desire is understandable, born from our wish to feel secure and happy. Yet, the more we cling, the more we suffer. Harmony with change begins with acceptance. This acceptance is not resignation or giving up. It is a wise and gentle recognition of how life truly is. It means seeing change without fear or denial, embracing the natural flow of beginnings and endings, growth and decay. When we begin to accept, the heavy load of struggle lightens, and we find a soft strength growing quietly inside. Imagine a great old tree. It stands through seasons of sun, rain, wind, and snow. It does not fight the storm, but bends with it. Its roots grow deep, grounded in the earth, while its branches sway gracefully with the wind. This image is life lived in harmony with change, strong yet flexible, rooted yet open. Buddhist teachings remind us that every moment holds the possibility of transformation. Pain can become healing, loss can become space for new growth, and endings can become beginnings. When we live with this understanding, we see the cycles of life as natural, even beautiful, rather than frightening or sad. Living in harmony with change also means letting go of the idea that we are separate from the world around us. We are part of nature's flow, connected with all beings and elements. This connection helps us trust the unfolding of life, knowing that change is part of a greater rhythm that supports growth and renewal. When change comes, whether in relationships, health, work, or feelings, we have a choice: to resist and suffer more, or to flow with the change and find peace. This choice is not always easy. Old habits of clinging and controlling run deep. But with mindfulness and patience, we can learn new ways to respond. Mindfulness helps us see change clearly, moment by moment. We notice when we start resisting, when the mind grabs onto fear or anger. We gently bring our attention back to the present, to the simple facts of what is here right now. This clear seeing weakens resistance and invites ease. Harmony with change also calls for compassion. Compassion for ourselves as we struggle and learn, and compassion for others who face their own changes and challenges. This compassion softens hard feelings, opening space for understanding and connection even in difficult times. The Buddha taught that holding life lightly is the path to true freedom. When we stop clutching tightly, we discover a deep happiness not tied to conditions or outcomes. This happiness is like the calm center of a spinning wheel, stable even as the world moves around it. Letting go of resistance does not mean passivity. It is a vibrant engagement with life, flowing skillfully rather than fighting blindly. It is like a dancer moving with the music, adapting, turning, and expressing beauty in every step. This way of living leads to resilience. When storms arise, we bend but do not break. When joys come, we receive them fully without fear of losing them. We find a balance that carries us through all seasons. Harmony with change is also reflected in how we treat others. We become more patient, less judgmental, and more able to forgive. We see that everyone is on their own path, facing their own changes and difficulties. As we practice this harmony, our hearts open wider. We become more grateful for the present moment, aware of its preciousness. We learn to savor life's fleeting beauty, sunsets, smiles, small acts of kindness, and not take anything for granted. The path of flow and acceptance is ongoing. Sometimes we forget and resist again. Sometimes we remember and flow with ease. Both are part of the journey. There is no perfect way, only the practice of returning to presence, kindness, and openness again and again. This practice also deepens our understanding of impermanence and interconnectedness. We see that all things arise and pass away, and in this cycle, life renews endlessly. Knowing this brings peace and a joyful heart. May this teaching on living in harmony with change bring calm to your mind and warmth to your heart. May it help you embrace each moment as it comes, flowing gently like a river on its endless journey to the sea. And may you find freedom and joy in walking lightly on the ever-changing path of life. Life is an endless tapestry, woven with threads of joy and sorrow, growth and loss, hope and challenge. As the river flows to the sea, so too does our journey carry us through many experiences, some gentle and some stormy. In this final part of our journey, we pause to reflect on the path we have walked. A path paved with wisdom, kindness, and the gentle letting go of the struggle within. This is a moment to hold in our hearts, a moment of gratitude, clarity, and deep peace. In the teaching of Buddhism, there is a soft invitation to stop fighting life, to stop pulling against the current, and instead to step fully into the flow. This isn't giving up or resignation. It is a bold, courageous choice to live with an open heart and a calm mind, no matter what life brings. It is the awakening to freedom hidden beneath the surface of resistance, a freedom available to all who choose to stop the fight and start the gentle dance of acceptance. When we stop fighting, we stop creating unnecessary pain. We no longer add extra layers of worry or frustration to our natural experiences. The river of life flows more freely, and we flow with it, grounded in the present moment. This presence is the most precious gift we can give ourselves. Looking back, The struggles we faced become teachers, not enemies. Every moment of pain, fear, or confusion was an opportunity in disguise. A chance to awaken deeper kindness, patience, and wisdom inside ourselves. We learn that even our darkest nights contain the seed of a new dawn, waiting patiently to unfold. This understanding brings a gentle humility. We realize that life's mysteries are larger than our plans and desires. We bow to the unknown with trust, knowing that each step, whether easy or hard, is part of a greater story written by the heart of the universe. In walking this path, we have embraced the beauty of impermanence, the truth that nothing lasts forever. This truth no longer frightens us, but fills us with wonder. We understand that life's fleeting moments are treasures to be cherished fully, without clinging or fear. We have touched the power of compassion and equanimity, the twin flames that warm and steady the heart. Compassion opens us to the pain of ourselves and others, inviting healing and connection. Equanimity holds us steady, helping us meet all experiences with balance and grace. Through accepting life's changes and challenges, we have found resilience. Like trees bending in the wind without breaking, we too bend with life's storms, rooted deeply in the soil of awareness and love. This flexibility is not weakness, but a quiet strength that carries us through. As this journey closes, we remember the soft power of mindfulness, the simple practice of being awake to each breath, each step, each moment. Mindfulness is the thread that connects all teachings. It leads us home to ourselves again and again, no matter where we go or what we face. The river of life is never still. It moves onward, carrying us forward. Our task is not to stop the river, but to trust it and find our place within its flow. This trust opens the door to a life of freedom, peace, and joy. As you walk beyond this moment, remember that you are never alone. The wisdom of the Buddha, the warmth of loving kindness, and the strength of mindful awareness walk with you. They whisper softly in your heart. You are enough. You are loved. You are free. May you carry this gentle teaching in your heart. May you live with courage and kindness, with openness and peace. May your days be filled with light, even when shadows fall, and may you find joy in every breath of this precious life. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.3% subscribe. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, Wisdom Woven. Your support helps keep these teachings flowing to others who seek peace and understanding. Thank you for sharing this journey. May your path be soft, your heart be warm, and your spirit be free. Remember, stopping the fight with life is not the end. It's the beautiful beginning of truly living. Walk gently, breathe deeply, live fully,